let's get started with Supta Baddha Konasana, which is reclined bound ankle pose. So you're going to put your feet together and let your knees fall out and then recline your body back. So you're going to be, and if you're just joining, like I said, you might want to grab a strap or a belt just for some shoulder openers we're going to do. So this is Yin Fusion, so we're going to have a lot of yin in it, but there's also going to be a little bit of movement that's going to go with it just to get some motion in the body. All right, so have your strap nearby or your belt or whatever it is you might be using. All righty. Go ahead and laying back. Knees are going wide like they're open like a book, and bottoms of the feet are together. As you're laying there, go ahead and put your right hand on your low belly, left hand over the heart. If your knees are out and it's too much, you can take pillows or blocks and put them on the outsides underneath the knees. The further out you put them, the deeper it'll be. The closer in towards the midline, the less intensity you'll feel. Now, as you're lying here, tuck your chin towards your chest to make your back nice and flat, making the neck nice and flat against the mat. And I want you to hone in on your breath. Your left hand's over the heart. Feel the chest rise. The right hand over the low belly. Feel the belly expand. When you're taking inhales, try to keep the lips sealed and feel the air coming in through the nostrils. On every exhale, you can open the mouth and let go and release. As you're feeling the ebb and flow of breath through the nostrils, I want you to notice if it's warm or a cool breath. Is it damp or is it dry? Take note of how the breath is flowing. Is it fast or is it slow? Every inhale, we're bringing in fresh new breath and energy. Every exhale, you're releasing and letting go of the old and the stale. Setting intention for your class for the next 60 minutes or so to be present in your mind and body. Mentally, physically, and emotionally, we connect within ourselves. Take note of how your body's feeling now, so we can circle back at the end of class to see how you feel when you finish. On your next inhale, I want you to fill up all the way. Feel the biggest expansion you can in your belly and your chest, and hold it at the top. Open the mouth when you're ready. Let go and release all the air until you feel completely empty of air. Doing that one more time at your pace. Seal the lips. Begin to inhale through the nose, filling all the way up and holding at the top. Try and sip in 1 more ounce of air to really fill up. And when ready, open the mouth, release, let go. Good. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees or thighs. Slowly close your knees together like a book. Bottoms of the feet are flat on the mat. The knees are bent. Bring both knees in towards your chest. You can wrap your hands behind the thighs, behind the knees, or come in front of the shins. And I want you to squeeze in. I want you to keep the back of the head on the mat to protect the neck at this moment. Squeeze your knees in towards your body. Now I want you to separate the knees apart and pull them towards your armpits. If you want, you can rock gently left to right, massaging the low back. Getting a little hip opener, getting a nice spinal massage. Starting off nice and slow. Moving into happy baby. Bring your feet toward the ceiling. If you can grab the bottoms of your feet, grab for the arches or the big toes or the outside. If it's not accessible, grab for the ankles or behind the knees and pull down. Pulling down, keep the tailbone rolling flat onto your mat. We tend to roll up and back to reach our feet. I'd rather you grab lower on your legs and keep the tailbone down. Pull down on those legs or ankles. And if you want a little more, slowly opening, you can maybe stretch one leg and straighten and then the other. Starting to get movement in the body along with getting the muscles elongated, making space for stretching. You rock left and right, continue to massage the sacrum, that low flat back. Bring both knees back into the chest. This time, hold the right knee in, let the left leg go long. As you squeeze the right knee in, you can grab behind the thigh or in front of the shin, pulling it towards your armpit. Roll out your ankle one way. Maybe you get some snap, crackle, pops out. And then go the other way. Squeezing that leg in a little tighter. Take a breath in. On the exhale, find a supine twist, rolling over to your left. So the right knee comes across the body. This is where you'd be welcome to put a pillow or a block if you can't get your knee to the floor completely fine. You want to concentrate on keeping the right shoulder down. So cactus your arms out or tee your arms out. Roll up onto the left hip as that right knee comes across. Your gaze can be to the right. As you feel that supine twist, keeping the right shoulder down gives you the twist to the midline. Like I said, if the knee isn't coming down and it's any kind of pain or you don't want to twist as much, put that block there or pillow. Staying here for a few breaths, I want you to concentrate on the pressure on the internal organs as we twist. Anytime we're putting twists onto our body in any way, we're detoxifying. Detoxifying through the major organs, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, the belly. This is also great for the intestines. We have your ascending and descending and transverse colon. Putting pressure in a twist is really nice massage for insides. Find 2 more breaths in this twist. Settling in. Maybe you go a little deeper, let your knee fall a little further. On your next inhale, come back through center on your back. Left leg stays long. Keep the right knee squeezing in. Squeeze it one more time. Keep the back of the head on the mat. And release the right leg down. Pull the left leg in. Left knee bends in. Again, you can grab the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. Keep the head on the mat. Pull the knee in towards your armpit or your chest. Begin to roll your ankle out one way. And then the other. Getting any of those little pops out, releasing air through the joints. Good, give it one more squeeze. Take a breath in. On the exhale, pull the left knee over across the body. Left shoulder stays down. Right leg stays long, gaze to your left. Again, this is where you can put that block or pillow underneath the knee. Or let gravity begin to pull. Just keep that left shoulder down. Again, think of the pressure you're putting in a good way on your internal organs, as long as it feels good on the spine. Breathing. And exhaling, you let go, detoxify. Nice deep breaths in through the nose. Long, slow exhales of the mouth. Two more breaths here. Maybe you go a little deeper on your twist if it feels good. We're slowly opening the body. You're making space. Good. When you're ready on your next inhale, come back through center. Pull the left knee into the armpit once more. Keep the back of the head on the mat. Pull the right knee in. Both knees are in towards the chest. Rock left and right on the spine after those twists. Stay still in the middle, and we're going to rock and roll 3 or 4 times along the spine, up and down gently. Keep your chin tucked in. Just getting the spine aligned after those twists. Once you do 3 or 4, just come up, meet me in a seated position, legs are crossed. Once you're in this position, you're welcome to be in a regular cross leg, or you can stack your legs in front of one another. If you want it deeper, you can go lotus. Take one foot and put it on top of the other thigh. So I'm using my right foot on top of the left thigh, and then take the left foot and cross on top of the right. So that's a lotus pose. You don't have to be there. You can be in a simple cross leg. Take your strap or belt or scarf or whatever you might have and grab that. We're going to do a couple shoulder openers. As you're sitting here, take your strap out in front of you, and you're going to be about a little wider than shoulder width distance. So you're making about a V in front of you. Bring that strap up over the head. Pull your chin to your chest and start to let that strap fall behind you. Now you shouldn't quite be able to go all the way down yet. So if you feel like you're starting to go all the way back, bring your hands a little closer to one another. You want it so it's when you're stretching back, it's just stopping you. If you have shoulder issues, you'll want to be further, your hands further apart. Maybe you're shaking in this. I want you to pull the strap away from each other in opposition. This is where I was talking about with Krishna, I was asking about balance. Right here, you're doing stabilizer muscles. If you're really pulling on this strap, your stabilizer muscles might be shaking. Good, come back through center, come down, relax for a moment. If you're in lotus pose, go ahead and switch it out. We're gonna switch our ankles. So for me, my left is on top, pull that one down. This time, we're gonna put the left leg on top of the right thigh and cross the right leg on top. If you're sitting in cross-legged, you can even just swap the cross of your legs just to even out. We're going to take our strap. Same thing, we're going to go wide. This time, go just a little bit wider. We're going to get a little bit more mobility in this one. Inhale the arms up. And this time, you will want to go further. Bring your chin to your chest. If you can't go, just widen the grip of your hands. Chin to the chest, stretch back, now pull. So your arms should be more behind you this time. Pull apart on the strap. And again, if you have shoulder issues, the further your hands are away from each other, the better it might be on your shoulders. Pulling so those stabilizer muscles start shaking. Your chin is on your chest. Protecting the neck, getting a nice little stretch. Pull, pull, pull. You're almost there. Good, inhale, come back through center and bring it back over. Good, we're gonna take, you can stay in your lotus as you are, or you can switch again, or just sit cross-legged, whatever you wanna do. Bring your arms up overhead and lean over to the right. Now, as you do this, don't roll forward. Keep your shoulders squared off with one another. Keep your neck in alignment and just lean over. You might feel a little crack and pop. Don't let that left glute come up either. Keep the left glute down. We're really working on just moving to the midline. You're keeping that grip, same thing. Arms are long, you're making almost a V. See how far you can go. Feel a little stretch in the left side body. Maybe you gaze up past the left bicep. Inhale, come through center. Sit up nice and tall through spine. Exhale, come to your left. Feel the same thing. Oh, nice little pop there in my mid back, my thoracic spine. You can gaze up past that right bicep. Arms are pulling apart. Right glute is staying on the floor. We're not lifting up. Stay down. Come back through center. If you switched, go ahead and bring your arms down for a moment. If you switched or didn't switch, you can go ahead and change your lotus pose one last time. Or crisscross your legs a different way. Bring the arms up. We're going to do one more time. Big breath in, elongate the spine, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, lean over to your right. Pull over. Same thing, you can gaze up past the shoulder. Pull the arms apart. Use those stabilizer muscles. Feel strength in this. You're building flexibility, but you're building strength at the same time. Inhale, come back through center. On the exhale, sit up tall and lean over. Pull the arms apart, gaze past the right armpit. Good, feeling that stretch maybe a little deeper. Keep the glutes down. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, bring that down and out of the way. Good. You can set your strap off to the side. Go ahead and bring your hands forward, come into all fours. If you've taken my class before, I always add in, if we're doing some yin and some stretching, I always add in a nice toe stretch. So bring your knees together as you're in all fours. Heels can be touching, toes are touching, and you're going to keep all 10 toes tucked underneath so the balls of your feet are trying to get to the mat. As you're in this toe stretch, you can stay right here. That might be enough for you. But if you want to get really intense with it, you can go ahead and sit back up and onto your heels. So sitting up onto the heels here, your toes are going to ignite. If this is too much and you want to sit up, go ahead and put a block or a pillow underneath the glutes on the back of those, underneath the thighs. That's actually going to take a little pressure off. It's going to put less bend in the knees as well. So as we're here, sit up tall and try not to concentrate on the toes. The toes are starting to feel that fire. What we're going to do to take our mind off the toes is some work with our shoulders. So inhale your arms open, keeping the toes tucked. On the exhale, find eagle arms. Right arm's going to cross underneath the left. Options here are back of the palms can be together, or you can wrap all the way around so palms meet each other. If any of that's too much or you have shoulder issues, grab opposite shoulders and try and reach back as far as you can. Whichever level I gave you that you choose, wherever you are, bring your elbows up in alignment with the shoulders. You're going to feel that change. Notice if they're down in front of your chest. Feel how your shoulders stretch and open as you pull up toward the ceiling. Breathe here. When we find ourselves in intense poses, it's important to breathe deeply. That brings oxygen into the bloodstream, which flows down, opens up your muscles, lets go of the intensity. And on your exhale, as you let go, take one more big breath in through the nose. You're almost there. Fill all the way up. And exhale, release your arms open all the way. This is the intense part. It's going to end, but bring yourself to all fours. Untuck the toes gently. You're going to feel the blood flush through your toes. You can tap the tops of your feet gently. This is so good for your circulatory system. Or if you have plantar fasciitis, or you are a dancer, or anything like that. Roll out the ankles, scrunch your toes, flex and point. Any kind of circulatory problems, this is so nice. And guess what? We get to do it again. So tuck the toes and then sit your hips back. Maybe you stay here. If you want to continue, or maybe you didn't last time, maybe you try and both this time. We're going to still do the same thing. We're just going to do opposite arms this time. Get a different stretch on the other side. Open the arms up. Big breath in. Exhale this time, left arm crosses under the right. Remember your options, back of the palms, or all the way around, or grab onto your shoulders as far back as you can. Whatever level you're on, sit up tall through the spine, lift the elbows in alignment with the shoulders. Squeeze your arms together. Breathe. Remember, notice if you're taking the tension and moving it to your face. Are you clenching your jaw or clenching your eyes? Release, relax, let go. Take one more breath. Lift the elbows 1 inch higher. And exhale, open all the way up and bring your hands down. Untuck those toes, same thing. Notice how it's feeling the second time. Was it a little easier? Good. We're gonna get a little opposite stretch. Keep the tops of the feet on the mat this round. Sit your hips back to your heels. Once you're here, you can stay if you have any kind of ankle problems. Your knees are together. If you want more, sit up. If you want even more, bring your hands behind you. And then if you want more, lift your knees up and feel those little pops in the toes, maybe in the ankles. Feel that nice stretch here. If you want to find a little balance, you're welcome to bring your hands to your knees as they're off the mat, or out in front of you, or at heart center. Feel that nice stretch. Again, find the layer that works for you and your body. Take one more deep breath in. Stay for your exhale. Go ahead and bring your hands behind you if they're not already. Then lower the knees. Then walk yourself forward. Come up to all fours. Roll out the ankles. Good. And again, we're going to do that. So tops of the feet come back to the mat. Sit the hips back. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you sit up. Lean back. And lift the anchor, the knees up. Again, you can bring your hands out in front. If you want even more this time, now that we've opened everything up, bring your hands down and start to tuck the knees up towards the face. Little bowl here. Press, press, press. And on your next exhale, release the knees down first. And bring yourself back to all fours. Roll out the ankles. Good. Keeping your palms nice and wide, we're in this nice neutral pose. Bring your navel to your spine. Think of your hips over your knees. Your tops of the feet are on the mat. Take an inhale, cat-cow pose. Drop the belly down, gaze goes up. Stay here for a moment. As you're here, think of the tailbone pointing toward the sky. Shoulders are down and back, shoulder blades pinched together. On your next exhale, arch the spine, press away, tuck your chin to your chest, tuck the tailbone under. Think of a cat stretching. Really tuck in toward the midline here. Think of trying to tuck your tailbone toward your chin. Pull the navel in. Taking this nice and slow. Inhale, gaze back up, point the tailbone. Hold here, dropping the belly down for cow pose. Belly's dropping down. Exhale, crunch in. Press away. Feel the shoulder blades separate here. And find your neutral spine. Tucking your toes, moving into a down dog here. We'll get a little stretch. Push the hips down and back. As you're in a down dog, if you have any kind of wrist issues, this is where you could use blocks and put them underneath your palms. Begin to pedal out one heel at a time. Bend one knee, then the other. Maybe you hold for a few seconds on each leg. Feel those calves open. Anytime you're in a down dog, if you go straight from being in all fours with your hands directly underneath the shoulders and the knees directly under the hips, if you press yourself up and back, you're going to find that perfect little down dog. If you want less of a stretch, walk your feet in. You might be able to get your heels down. If you want more, take your heels further and then try and melt them down. Let your head hang between your biceps. And press your chest back towards your thighs. Again, if you have wrist issues, think of putting pressure between your index finger and your thumb, that soft part between those two fingers. And then also dig your finger mounds into your mat. Dome up the palm of your hand almost. That takes pressure off the wrist. Down dog shouldn't be all of your pressure collapsing in the back of your palm into your wrist. That's not a good down dog. That'll start to hurt your joints. On your next inhale, take your right leg up and open up the hip. If you want to do some hip circles, you can. If this is too intense, come to your left knee and just do hip circles so you can drop down. So find what works for you. Roll out the ankle, roll out the hip, bend through the knee, open up. Keep your shoulders squared off with the mat. Maybe you try and kick your heel towards your glute. Inhale, straighten the leg up. On the exhale, bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. We're in a low lunge, runner's lunge here. You're on the ball of the back foot. Notice my knee is at a 90 degree and it's on the outside of my right shoulder. Your gaze is down. Once you find that nice opening, drop the back knee down. Untuck the toes. You can keep the toes tucked if that feels better on your knee. This is where you can have blocks if it's too low, or a pillow or books. Or you can use those if you want to come down to your forearms. So your option is to come all the way down to the forearms without a block as well. Make sure the right foot's staying flat on the mat for now. You can have a strap if you want for some of the stuff we're going to get into. Your strap should be nearby. But it's not necessary. I'm going to give you lots of options. But right now, as you're in this pose, you might be back here, and that's okay. Your hips might not be sinking down. But I want you to try and shift forward. So we want to think of the hips magnetizing to the mat and opening up that front hip flexor. You're here for a few more breaths as you hold this. If you can go deeper, you can bring your chest to the mat. We're slowly working our hips open. Breathing. This can be a very intense pose. Hip openers, we hold a lot in there. Our hips hold us all day, so we hold a lot in there. I want you to take note again, we tend to move tension from one area to another. So we're releasing tension in the hips. Make sure you're not moving it to the jaw, the face, the fists. Now I want you to kind of spin open towards your right side and push the right knee away and come up on the knife edge side of your right foot. Pressing up and gaze up over the right shoulder. You might be on your palm or on a block here. You might be up here, that's great. Maybe you're on your forearm. Feel that nice little opening. Remember to let the hips continue to melt down toward the mat as you're opening up. You can stay like this. This might be your level, or you might be where we started, that's fine. If you want even more, kick your left heel towards your left glute. You're twisting to the right still, and reach back with that right hand. So your opposite hand to opposite foot. This is where you can use a strap and wrap it around your foot and pull it in. Again, this is a little further advanced. You don't have to go this far, but if you want to, go for it. The more you pull in, the deeper you're going to feel that stretch. Take 2 more breaths, nice and deep. Remember, oxygen in. Tension is on the exhale, release it. Good. When you release, if you have a hold of your foot, don't let it slap to the ground. Release it and take control. Spin back down, plant your hands down. Bring your right foot back flat onto the mat. Sit your hips back toward your heel. Now this again is where you might want blocks or books. Your right foot's going to be a little off to the side. Move it in toward the midline. Square your right and left hip off. Flex your toes toward your face. We're in a half split here. So notice I can be with my block here if I need help sitting up, or keep that bend of your knee if you need to.
More options I'm going to give you so you can flex more. Make sure that toe stays flexed. Bring your nose toward your shin. Remember, these are all just options. I want people that need that advanced option to have it if you're trying to really work on flexibility or you're trying to go to your next level. If you want even more and you have a full split in your practice, go for it. If you're working on getting into a full split, this is a great place to start. And then slowly start walking yourself forward. Keep that front knee bent slightly. And just start to take note of opening up. Start to let your hips melt down. If you want to keep going, you can always put blocks underneath of your glutes and sit there and practice. Once you're in a full split, you can start to untuck your back toes. Remember to flex your right foot, your front toes. Sit up tall, pulling the right hip back, left hip forward. So you can sit on toes in a block. Start to feel that opening in your hip flexors. Again, if you want the full split, blocks are great. I always recommend blocks because you can start to work on flexibility in new ways. No matter who you are or what your practice is, blocks are helpful. You want to go all the way down. That's your last option. And you can fold forward. Remember to keep your right foot flexed. If you're in your half split still, remember, you can start to fold yourself forward slightly. If you want to work on your intensity, flexibility. Yin is very intense, so it's important that you concentrate and connect with your body. Think of your fascia, those deep fibers pulling apart and opening up. Breathe and let go. Holding these poses for longer gives time for the muscles to make new memory and open. If you're in a full split, slowly begin to walk yourself up. Meet us in our half split, however you want to get there. If you're in the half split, we're going to slowly set ourselves up. Come back to all fours here. Good. Once you're in all fours, we move into down dog. Tuck the toes, hips go high, push it back. Chest pushes back toward the thighs. Pedal out each heel. Make sure your hands are shoulder width distance, feet are hips width distance. Remember the weight of your body and the pressure goes between the index finger and the thumbs. Don't collapse into the back of the palms where the wrists are. That'll just cause pain over time. On your next inhale, this time your left leg goes high. Open it up. Feel that nice opening. Again, if that's too intense, bring your right knee down and open and roll out that knee and roll out that hip. So find your layer. Maybe you roll out the ankle, kick the heel toward the glute. Try and keep the shoulders squared off the mat. Big breath in. On the exhale, shift forward, runner's lunge, your low lunge. Foot is on the outside of the left foot or hand. Again, as you're here, you can have blocks. Once you're nice and low and your hips are melting, drop the back knee down. If it's okay on the knee, untuck the toes, top of the foot to the mat. Remember your options. Stay up on a block, come down to your mat, forearms to a block, or pillow or books, or come all the way down. And then let your head rest or head hang heavy. Again, if you're up here and you're not really feeling that you're not getting forward, try and walk yourself as much as you can. It just means you've got really tight hip flexors, and that's fine. That's what we're working on. So kind of think of gravity just pulling the hips down. The more you do this, the more you're going to get used to those muscle fibers opening, the tendons, the joints, all that stuff. Making new muscle memory in Yin Yoga for sure. Again, scan the body. Are you clenching your jaw? Are you pressing the tongue to the roof of your mouth?
Maybe clenching your eyes. Let it all go with breath. If you're ready for a little more, go ahead and twist towards your bent knee up by you and push the left knee away and come onto the knife edge side of that foot, twist open. It's the only thing that changes. Your back leg is still long. You can stay here. Really feel that nice opening. Kind of feel it back through your glute, the top of your gluteus medius, that outside. And then if you want more, this is where you can use a strap or just grab back. You can kick your right heel up and reach back with your left hand. Pull that heel in. Again, you might be on your right palm or on blocks or pillows. Feel the intensity begin to melt away. We have so much power with our breath. Allow yourself to let go. Release, relax. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. Whatever layer you're in, be there and be present in your mind connection to the body. When you're ready, don't let that foot just slap down if you're holding it. Release it with control. Bring yourself back up. Moving into that half split. You can have your blocks or books or pillows. Remember, if you're in your half split, flex your toes toward your face. Maybe the knee is bent. If you want more, straighten it. And make sure that foot is centered. So it might need to move in a little bit because you want your hips in alignment with one another. Your back toes could be tucked if you want. And then you can start to fold yourself forward or use blocks to hold yourself up or balance here. A lot of options. If this hurts your knee at all too, hopefully you've got blankets or something, a little extra cushion. You can fold your mat over twice. Flex your toes if you want to melt your forehead down. I always like to start here before you move into a whole full split. If that's in your practice, start going into your full split here. Again, if you're working on getting into a split, bring yourself and shift yourself forward and start to bring that leg a little straighter at a time. Hold yourself up. Use your block if you want. Put it underneath of your thigh. Flex those left feet. Maybe you stay here. You can untuck the toes if you get to here. Notice how you feel on this side. This side might be a lot tighter or it might be a lot more open. You might be able to go further. I tend to be able to go further on my right than my left. Just feels more natural. Just depends which side is tighter. Again, if you're working through layers, the block has 3 layers, so you can work through each of them as you build your flexibility over time. Even if you have the block and you want to fold forward, you could. If you want to go full on split, take the block out as you work your way down. This might not happen today, obviously, but it'll happen over time the more you work on your splits. Go ahead and fold forward. We're here for a few breaths. Yin Yoga is a definite mind game. You're sitting there saying, oh, I'm in pain or I'm tense, I'm all these things. I want you to breathe and let go and release. That's what Yin is about. Two more deep breaths. Scan your face, scan your shoulders. Are you holding tension in those areas? Release with your breaths. One more deep breath. Open mouth, exhale, let go. If you're in your full split, start to work your way back out. However works for you. I usually push myself up, bend the knee. If you're in your half split, untuck the foot, come back to all fours. Good. Bring yourself back onto your heels and pull your legs through. And now I want you to take your knees and find broken bridge. Take your feet to the outside edges of your mat, let the knees fall in, and then slowly just wag them back and forth. Give yourself that nice, you're working on opening your hips. Good, breathe here. Got a little more for your hips here in a few, but I'm gonna do one for your shoulders right now. Give your hips a little break. Okay, lots of options as always. We're gonna do penguin pose. If you have never done penguin pose, this is one of my favorite shoulder openers. We'll start single-sided and move to double if you can. So let's start with the right hand. I want you to tuck it underneath like you're making a chicken wing. Now, you might just be here and you can pull that arm in with your other arm. If possible, take your right knee onto the outside of that bicep. So remember, my hand is in like you're making a chicken wing, and then push yourself with the outside, or the inside of your knee on the outside of the arm. And try and stay squared off. We don't want to twist. That'll defeat the purpose of the stretch. Stay squared off with the front of the room. Squeeze here. We're just getting warmed up in the shoulders. We opened them up a lot earlier, so this should start to feel really good. Good, release that one out. Same thing, other side, take your hand. Bottom of the back of the hand is going onto the inside of the armpit, like you're making a chicken wing. Same thing, if you can get it on the inside of the left knee or thigh, that's great. If not, take your right hand and pull it in. So find your option. These are poses you start to see how tight you really can be in your shoulders. Good. Release it out, roll out the wrist. That's also a great wrist stretch. So now we move into both. This is where it can get very intense. So take the backs of your hands, and you might be able to do it, you might not. If you can't, lean forward, just kind of try and squeeze the elbows together best you can. If it's possible, get them on the insides of your thighs. And notice my knees, we're gonna squeeze those elbows together. Stay facing the front of the room. This is full penguin pose. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep the backs of the hands pressing against the inner rib cage or the outer rib cage. You can bring your chin to your chest. That's a nice little stretch on the back of the neck. I want you to take 2 more deep breaths. Maybe you squeeze a little more. You should really be feeling this through your arms up through the shoulders, the upper arms, your biceps, deltoids. Good, go ahead and release yourself out. Roll out the wrists. Sit up tall for a moment, roll out the shoulders. Good. Bring yourself back up to all fours. Let's move back into our hips. Take your left leg and bring it out to the side. So you're in all fours, left leg's up the side. Notice the knife edge side of my foot is facing the side of the mat. If for any reason your ankle doesn't work that way, take it so the bottom of your foot faces the side. But if you can, put your foot flat and then start to work your leg out. This is single leg frog pose. So the right knee is bent, and as you move away, you're gonna notice your back heel falls down like a frog leg. Now, the other thing is we tend to shift ourselves forward. Make sure your hips stay in alignment. So we're kind of getting a split on the other way. Other option is to come down to your forearms. Just make sure those hips are in alignment with the foot and the knee. Stay right there and breathe. I'm just showing you from the side to make sure you understand how this should look. So I want our alignment to be where it should. So notice that we're not up here laying down, we're back. You can have pillows, couch cushions, anything you want to help you. 2 more breaths. Let go of your clenching jaw. Let go of everything, breathe. And if you're down on your forearms, come up and gently start to roll that foot back in. Good. Come to all fours, moving into the other side. Go ahead and take that right leg out. And again, you might stay here. That's completely fine. Don't go any further than what is going to give you any kind of pain. We want to open. Now slowly slide. As you slide, notice that left back foot, the knee that's bent, is going to come open. And you've got a frog leg. So the arch side of your foot might be down if you're out further. And again, can come down to your forearms. Two more breaths. See if you can go a little deeper, pushing that foot away if you can. And once you come to the end of that last breath, push yourself up and slowly pull your leg in. And now we've warmed up to our full frog pose. So full frog, this is where you're welcome to have blocks or a pillow. We're going to take both of our feet so they fall inward and our knees start sliding out. So both knees are bent, heels roll in, and arch your feet, or excuse me, flex your toes, flex your feet. That's going to protect the knees. If you point them, you're going to have more knee issues. So flex, that's going to protect all those ligaments in there. We don't want to tear anything or go too deep. And notice my hips stay in alignment with my knees. If you want to come down, you can. Stay as you are. I'm just showing you from the front now what it should look like. Make sure we're all on the same page. Frog feet. Arches of the feet are on the mat. Knees are out. Okay, stay and breathe. You warmed up each side, so it shouldn't be quite as intense. We're opening up a lot of our root chakra today. I want you to find 4 more deep breaths. As you're in those breaths, I want you to take your mind and concentrate on your breath. Connect, anchor in, take your mind off your hips, see what emotions come up for you. I want you to connect with yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. Good, last breath. And when you feel ready, if you're down on your forearms on a pillow, press yourself up. Slowly sit yourself back towards your heels. Bring your knees in. Come to all fours first. Then sit yourself back. Bring the legs out in front. Bend your knees. Just do the same thing in windshield wiper. So bring your feet out to the edges of your mat. And then let each knee fall in one at a time. Back and forth. Good. I have one more deep shoulder opener after this. Go ahead and sit forward. We're going to come onto our bellies for this one. You will want to probably have a block or a pillow for this, just to have something under your neck, but it's up to you. Depends on what kind of flexibility you have. Come onto your belly. You're going to lay with your right cheek on the mat and tee your arms out. Tops of the feet are on the mat, and let your right cheek relax. As you're here, your arms, make sure your hands are in alignment with the shoulders. This is very important. Palm is down. Make sure the palm stays down and you stay one long line.
We're going to move up towards the right first. So take the left hand and place it underneath the left shoulder. Right arm stays long and aligned with the shoulder. Moving in to Crocodile Pose. Press yourself away, keeping that hand down. Notice you might go to here. You can bend your left knee and keep it here if you're getting enough intensity. If you want more, press yourself even more and take that leg behind the right. This is where you might want something under your neck. Depends on how your flexibility is. If that right arm that's long and in alignment with the palm down, if that arm is sliding, don't go any further. If it's staying put and you want to keep going, your fullest expression is to come onto your back and take your left hand and meet the other palm. Keep the right palm down. This is very deep. If you make it to this space, this is great. If not, you might be just barely pushing yourself up off the mat. That's great too. You're working on rotator cuff. So if you have rotator cuff issues, obviously you want to not go as intense or deep at first. But this is a great stretch to add in if you are healing or trying to get more mobility in the rotator. Also, if your shoulder comes out of socket easily, this is one that you want to take very lightly. Listen to our bodies. Stay here for a few more breaths. Notice if you're clenching, release, relax. Two more breaths. Good. As we come out, if you're on your back with your arms still long, roll back to your belly. Roll all the way down. Tee your arms back out. This time your left cheek will come to the mat. Bend the right arm. Make sure the left arm's in alignment with that left shoulder. So important. Palm stays down. Tops of the feet on the mat. Right hand will slowly start pushing you up. As you're pushing up and away, this arm tends to want to slide. Don't let it. Pressing, pressing. Again, you might be here. You can put that block underneath your head or pillow. If you feel like you can keep going, roll back. Make sure that hand doesn't go anywhere. I can't stress it enough. If you're all the way on your back, take your right hand and let it meet the left. Very intense pose. Lots of layers to go through. If you have the flexibility to be on your back, that's great. If not, it is possible. I used to not be able to do this at all. I used to be the person that did it a little bit up, and I slowly worked my way here. Takes time. So breathe, listen to your body. Take note of how it's feeling. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath. That'll take away from your flexibility. We want to open. 2 more breaths. And when you feel ready, whatever layer you're in, come back to your belly. Good. And move your block to the side if you have one or whatever you're using. Bring both hands underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet are on the mat, be on your belly, and just slide open and press up to Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose, elbows are underneath the shoulders, palms are nice and flat. And tops of your feet press into the mat, little back bend here. And kind of pull your chest, think of just digging your hands into the mat and pull your chest through. You might get a little pop through your back. If you want more intensity,
Come on up to your palms. And then keep your hips down, but slowly start walking your palms underneath your shoulders. Seal pose.
Palms are nice and wide.
Now, whether you're in Sphinx on your forearms or up on your palms right now, if you want to move a little deeper, kick your left heel up, twist open, grab back with your left hand, twist. Release, come through center. Other side, right hand to the right heel, pull, twist. Release your feet down.
Come back to your belly. Slowly roll yourself away onto your back. Once you're on your back, bend your knees. Pull both heels in. Rock left to right, or excuse me, both knees in. Rock left to right. Feel the massage on the low back as you release after those back bends. We're going to be moving into our final pose of Shavasana. I will be bringing you back from Shavasana, but you're always welcome to stay longer. We'll just do a quick one on here. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, legs go long, arms stay by the sides, palms face up. Tuck your chin gently to your neck. You're welcome to put something under your knees if you have low back problems. Big breaths in through the nose. Open mouth exhales, release. Shavasana is your most important pose. This is where your body relaxes and takes inventory of what happened for the last hour. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, release your tongue, uncurl the fingers, let your feet fall out gently. And again, coming back full circle, notice how you feel now compared to the start of class. I'll bring you back in just a few breaths. Take this time and relax. Like I said, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana and relax. Or you can start to bring awareness back into the body. Rolling out the wrists, rolling out the ankles, flexing the toes and pointing the toes. Massage the back of your head left to right. Slowly take your arms up over your head for a good morning stretch. Stretching your feet and hands in opposition. Open up. Big breath in. And on your exhale, roll onto your favorite side, left or right, keeping the eyes closed. Bring yourself up to a seated position. Palms together at heart center. Take note of how you're feeling mentally, physically, emotionally. What did you let go of? What did you allow yourself to let go of? Is there anything you're holding on to that doesn't serve you? Let it go here and now. Bring your thumbs up to third eye center, a space of intuition and a space of open-mindedness. Open-minded with ourselves, open-minded to one another. Bowing forward. Namaste.